So let's jump into the draft strategy. Let's just say everybody follows the concept of running backs, wide receivers, and maybe top-tier tight ends like Kelsey all day long and hold out like Braveheart for that quarterback. Don't take Mahomes or Hurts or Allen or even Justin Fields too soon. Just keep on drafting running backs and wide receivers. Let's just say that's the strategy. And then you got guys that like Geno, Goff, even Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Sam Howell, the rookies, Kenny Pickett, maybe even Deshaun Watson sitting out there. Which quarterback, even with Tua maybe, do you trust? Who do you hold out for and go for? Jimmy G, that's the type of guy that I'm talking about. Who do you say that's the guy that can win your fantasy league with?
So if you're saying, I'll tell you, so it depends on sort of where you're at. Outside of the big names, so I love Trevor Lawrence this year, but I haven't quarterback 8. So if you want to go deeper than that, we can go deeper than that. I'll give you a couple of guys. So number one is Anthony Richardson. Again, Anthony Richardson, wide range of outcomes for him, and so you might want to, he's a better play in a one quarterback league where it's going to be easier to replace him. But the upside on Anthony Richardson is so massive. You think about Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson's rookie year, both of whom still need to develop as passers. And each of those guys in their rookie year were top 9 fantasy quarterbacks on a points-per-game basis. And so I think Richardson has that upside. Now, they need to design some runs for him, but Jalen Hurts under Shane Steichen was a top 2 fantasy quarterback in both years that they played together on a points-per-game basis. So massive upside with Anthony Richardson. And by the way, if the Jonathan Taylor thing plays out in a negative way and we don't see Taylor on the field for the Colts for one reason or another, effectively, you would think Anthony Richardson becomes their goal line back. But I'll give you one other guy,
yes,
which
sir.
is, how about Jared Goff? Friend of the show, friend of the show, Jared Goff. But I mean, the thing about Jared Goff is he is really, really good when he plays indoors, right? Like last year when he played at home, just to give you an example.
Yes, sir.
21 fantasy points per game, 274 yards per game. He was nothing short of fantastic. Well, 7 of his final 8 games this year, fantasy playoff time, are in a dome. He's got a December 30th game at Dallas, which is a retractable roof, but it's December 30th. It's going to be, he's going to be in a dome for 7 of his final 8 games. This is a guy who last year was top 5 in touchdown passes, top 5 in completion rate on deep passes, had 6 different games with 20 or more fantasy points that was tied for the 5th most among quarterbacks. And he's going his QB 14 or 15. And so I think having Ben Johnson back as his offensive coordinator and having that offensive line, I think one thing that's really underrated about Detroit is that's one of the best offensive lines in football. It's a really good offensive line. And when Jared Goff has time, he's really good. He's really good. So I think Goff is a very underrated fantasy option this year.
I'm stroking my beard. You can't see. Chris Brockman's stroking his beard. He doesn't have one. So that's a fascinating stat. So then give me the quarterback, even in a PPR league, that you would take over a wide receiver too, or a running back that can catch out of the backfield, where you're just like, this quarterback is too damn two-way of a threat for me to let sit on the board and keep on amassing wide receivers and running backs. Would you pull the trigger on that?
For me, it's the big 4. So it is it's Jalen Hurts, it's Josh Allen, it's Patrick Mahomes, and it's Lamar Jackson. Those are the 4. I think Herbert has a big year, and I think Justin Fields obviously tremendous upside there as well. But those 4, and Burrow, of course, obviously Joe Burrow. Can't forget Joe Burrow. I have Joe Burrow at 5.
Mm-hmm. You take those guys over a wide receiver 2, or maybe even a borderline wide receiver 1, or right? You do that?
It all depends on sort of how your draft board falls. I don't like to go into a draft saying I've got to do this. In my first 2 rounds, I'm definitely going running back, or I'm definitely getting a tight end by round 3, or
yes,
I'm definitely waiting on a quarterback until round 8, or what.
Right.
I don't like to go in with any of those rules. I have my ranks, and I'm a big best player available. Let the draft fall to you.
Okay.
I was in a draft the other day, And I didn't expect to go wide receiver, but that's how it started because I got Tyreek Hill, and then CeeDee Lamb fell to me in the third. CeeDee Lamb fell to me in the second, and Devontae Adams was there in the third. I'm
what the heck? What? Devontae Adams in the third? Who are you?
Yeah, I was on the pick, and it's kind of the scoring is a little bit weird. I was the third on the but yeah. I mean, it was.
Is that a 3-team league, and it's like you're like Kramer in the dojo with the children? What is that? Come on.
For whatever reason, Devontae Adams just fell, and so It's a 12-team league too. It was a super flex league, and so anyway, but I actually think I started Mahomes and then Hill, Lamb, Adams, and so it was just. But the point is like it just.
Okay.
You never know, right? It's like my point is like just for whatever reason that league, people just don't like Devontae Adams. They're worried about Garoppolo. It was an early draft. Maybe the Garoppolo injury had come out and Adams had a toe thing or whatever. But like, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying is to let the draft come to you. So I wouldn't go in and say I definitely would take a quarterback over this or this. But if you're asking me who are quarterbacks that are worth reaching for, that if you want to go elite, those four.
Okay.
I think the big three plus Lamar Jackson and a Todd Monken offense. He's gotten paid with Beckham and Bateman back and Zay Flowers. We saw him last night. He looked great. Obviously, Mark Andrews is such a superstar. So I think that's going to be a really, really exciting offense to watch.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.